Hey y'all, it has been so long. So long. Look at Bruno. My camera is like, do you see there's another thing in the camera? That's my dog Bruno. And you might see Nola pop up. But anyway, I am Marisha Simone, and I'm here for what I like to call Sunday Soul Sessions. I might not say Sunday anymore because it's just soul sessions. It's just moments with ourselves, moments with connecting to our spirit, connecting to our desires and our heart space. Because it always goes back to your heart space whenever you talk about desires. So it's been a minute. I know it's supposed to come on every week, twice a week, honestly, but I just haven't been feeling it. I haven't, and I know that there's discipline that I need to implement more of. But right now, I'm moving with spirit. I'm moving in flow. I've got a lot of changes happening, including moving. So, and I don't know, you can kind of see my background, but I haven't started. In 2 weeks is when I move. So, yeah, but I've been feeling a lot. I've been feeling a different energy, a new energy. That spring energy is really rolling in. I can feel the summer coming. Like I just feel different in my body. And so a lot of what I wanted to, like what's been on my mind to talk about is how to connect to the season. Instead of like forcing yourself to be in a certain mode or be a certain way, how to just connect to what is in flow and not be resistant of that. Because I'm thinking of like spring season for me, which is also my birthday season. I struggle because, and I don't know why, but like I was about to say because, but I really don't know why. Um, no, I know why. It's eclipse season. My birthday is always an eclipse season, and I can feel it. Like I'm always going through these heavy emotions or feelings around that time. And so like I've always told people like, yeah, my birthdays aren't usually that exciting for me. So I do put effort in to try to make them more. But I'm like, okay, this is a cyclical thing. Like, yes, there could be things that need to be addressed in that season, but what I do know is that everything that I experience in that season brings relief in as the spring continues. Once I get through April, honestly, as May starts, I fully feel a different sense of relief every year. Um, April, it's like it starts to gradually shift. And then in May, it's like I'm living a whole new life. And it's almost like all of those things that I was focused on kind of bringing to life or desiring or worrying about were just waiting on a shift of the season. Like it was nothing that I was doing wrong, nothing that I needed to do more of. I probably needed to do less. I wanted to talk about capacity. But yeah, I probably needed to do less and just allow the season to shift. And so now I'm learning my own patterns. I'm learning what's natural for me. And it does align with what's happening seasonally, what's happening on the earth, and all of those energies. And so, yeah, it makes me feel very much relieved because I've always kind of blamed myself for the experiences I have. And, they're not bad. They're just sometimes they can be really heavy. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? And so that's kind of like a natural belief system that I've been leaning on, but I'm realizing like some of these things are just seasonal. And my mom says it all the time. She's like, keep a journal, keep a journal. I think I remember this happening to you last time this year, around this time last year. And so, yeah, it's real. Things are cyclical, things are seasonal. And it's not that there's something wrong with you. It's not that there's a lot of work to do. It is just that's where things are. And so I was writing. I like to write before I come in here, and it's usually based on what's going on around me, what's happening. And what I'm realizing is like I'm starting to ask for what I want, even in just general dealings with people. I was walking the dogs and I saw these boxes being loaded onto this truck, and I didn't know these people, and I just kept walking, and I was like, wait, no, turn around, you need those boxes. And so I turned around and I asked for the boxes. I was like, are y'all using those boxes? They're like, no, we're about to get rid of them. I said, oh my God, can I have them? And I was just upstairs like an hour ago, like, dang, like I don't have enough boxes. I don't have, so I'm gonna have to spend money to get some more boxes so that I can move. And I just go walk the dogs. Matter of fact, I walked them on a longer route than I normally did because I was like, we both need exercise. And coming on in, coming on home, I got exactly what I needed. And so they brought the boxes to my house. I didn't have to do anything. They dropped them to my house, and I saw like a Modelo box in there. I love me a cold Modelo. And so I was like, oh, dang, is a Modelo in there? And So he was like, nah, I got some in the fridge. So anyway, they went and got it for me. They went and got something else that was missing in the box. Like, you know how they have those boxes with the clothes hangers? I promised this story. Like, yeah. Anyway, they have the boxes that you can hang clothes with. So he went back to go get that. And then he brought me back a Modelo. And I'm like, dang, all you got to do is just ask for what you want. Like, it's really simple. And so what I'm realizing is I've changed. Like, I'm different. My belief systems are different. And I'm maneuvering differently. So I'm gonna read you what I wrote because I don't even want to try to reiterate it. So I said, ask for what you want. The energy it takes to worry is the energy it takes to believe, and only one of them bring you relief. And so, like, I know people say, don't worry, just trust it, just believe it, but that's a hard process. And I think I want to reiterate that it's a process and it's a shift of your belief system. It is not just, I wake up one day and I'm going to believe this. It's not that simple most of the time. For some people, maybe, but it's never been like that for me. And I think we naturally resist change. We naturally resist a different way of thinking. It's natural. It makes sense. We've been conditioned to believe or think a certain way. We've had an experience that we've allowed to tell us who we are, tell us what we believe. And then we keep having experiences. And then maybe you get to a point and you're like, wait a minute, I don't like that experience I'm having. Where is that coming from? And so I think that's one of the beauties of doing coaching is I've been able to identify where belief systems and experiences have shifted who I am at the core and what I genuinely believe. And so, yeah, so then I was like, how deeply can you believe in yourself and spirit, God's will to provide? It's all about shifting your narrative of belief, and then anything and everything can happen. There was something that happened the other day where, like, my natural reaction was an old way of thinking. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in what that belief is or what that belief was that we think it's still happening. So what I mean by that is the body holds a lot of memory. There's a lot of experiences that our spirit, our body, like, just holds, especially our body, like, holds deep that you don't even know are in there. You know, one of the things we believe in herbalism is that dis-ease creates disease in the body. And so, yeah, we hold a lot of stuff in our organs, in our different organs. I'm thinking of fear and anger with, like, the liver. Sometimes people don't necessarily trigger what you still believe. They trigger, like, a memory of what you once believed. And so when that happens, I remember myself always being like, dang, like, here I go again doing this thing and believing this thing about myself. Or like, I haven't healed through that. I haven't moved through that like I thought I did. But I was walking the other day and I'm like, no, like, that's just a memory. You don't even believe that. And so thinking of, like, how intrusive thoughts work, and they just come in uninvited, and it's just this catastrophically crazy thought that you're like, it scares you to even think it. But I'm like, wait a minute, like, I don't believe that anymore. And so I think that's kind of like the relationship with self that has changed, because you realize where your beliefs are, where your values are. And so you know that when that intrusive thought or that trigger comes in and it triggers something, sometimes it's just recalling a memory. It's not necessarily saying this is where you are now, this is what you believe now. And it's not telling you who you are. It's reminded, it could be, if you look at it, if you step away from it for a second, it could remind you of how far you've come, of where you've come from. So yeah, and then the other thing I was thinking about was, like, you know, we talk about manifesting all the time, or praying for things that we need, but it doesn't happen until you happen, is what I'm learning for myself. Until I happen, it's not happening. And so, you know, working with God, working with spirit, working with the universe, it's to work with yourself and to believe there is something bigger than you that wants something different for you, that wants you to experience more or experience what it is that you desire. That really wants you, for me, I realize, is to experience your heart, to experience your own heart in the world. And I think that's what attracts us to people. Why are you whining? You have to use the bathroom? We just went to the bathroom, so I don't think you have to go to the bathroom. Y'all sit down. Yeah, it's about experiencing your heart. We see that reflected in other people, and that's why we get so zoned in on those people. We see something in them that triggers, like, I don't even want to use the word trigger, that mirrors something in us that we desire to lean into more. And so, yeah, faith without works. That's the thing everybody always says. And sometimes it seems like null and void because you feel like you've done so much work already. Like faith without works, like I've done the work. But really, like, it is the belief system that is the hardest. Like following a routine, a regimen, something somebody tells you you should do to get this, to obtain that, to be this person. Like you can follow steps, but can you go inward? Can you go deep into that memory, into that experience of life that you had in order to change your faith, like change your belief? Um, and I think that's just so much harder work than people tell you about. Like having faith is not an easy pursuit. My dog is about to throw up. Okay. Let's pause. All right, so we're back. That definitely was a throw up. So I don't remember where I left off. But oh, I was talking about like manifesting in prayer and getting close to your heart and all those things. Yeah, so the faith without work seems null and void, but that again, the faith is the hardest part. The belief that it's going to happen, that it's destined to happen, that it was always meant to happen, and that what I love that my coach says is that you chose for it to happen. Like you chose this. Um, Whether you believe in, you know, past life decisions or before you came here, you chose to go down this path. Presently, you chose it. Like that's what you just said you want. That's what you desire, and that's enough for it to happen. But it's really shifting the belief system of that it can happen. And so, like, I think naturally the question would be like, well, how do you shift your belief system? And honestly, I feel like you start by identifying what your belief system is, playing with what it is that doesn't feel right for you, and then doing some of the work of like questioning and analyzing and processing where that belief came from. Even the desires, you can look at where your desires came from. Um, and because sometimes our desires are aligned with not what we felt like we deserved or just the things we felt like we couldn't have. And so the only reason you desire it is because you felt like you couldn't have it before. And so sometimes, yeah, we may find out like things we used to want, we don't want anymore. But those were desires from our conditioned belief system, you know what I mean? And so when you can work through some of those things, you can go back to your younger self, different versions of yourself, and pinpoint where that started. Like, where did that really come from? Um, and do I still believe that, and why? Like, it's that simple. You can journal about that, and you'll find out a lot of information about yourself. Like, you will be surprised how much you get to know yourself. You get to know different versions of yourself. Y'all cut it out. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of self work. You know, I know I was already talking about like faith without works is dead. Um, but there's nothing you need to accomplish when I'm talking about like the work part. Like you can get all the things, the steps that people tell you to do. I'm saying there's nothing you need to accomplish, but I think the work is in self. And sometimes that work is just experiencing yourself genuinely, like not who you think you should be, not who you've been, but who you are. Like, who am I? What is it that I desire? And my herbalism teacher, spiritual herbalism teacher, Nola, can you back up, please? You know, when we talked about moving from the heart, what does that look like? And sometimes it just starts with starting your day with, what do I want today? What does my heart want today? And then I think that's a good way to actually practice faith. I think that's how I went through the journey, especially with my walk with the rose, is waking up in the morning. What is it that my heart wants? Especially, you know, with the added energy of the rose that is like the highest vibrating plant, like it's on a different frequency level, the energy surrounding it. And so adding that to this heart journey um, really amplified my faith, my belief system. And it was very different from the faith that I experienced at a younger age, or when I first started wondering, what do I believe in? Who do I believe in? What practices do I believe in? Like, it was so much different than that because it really did reflect who I was. Like, it helped me to go to self to seek, what is it that I believe about this outward experience? Who is it that I believe in this outward experience? And I would literally watch the day play out offering me something. If I woke up like, what does my heart want today? And I stated what that is, I would watch the day offer it to me. And I had to work on being able to receive it. Nola, leave it alone. She's a little baby spider and is intent on finding it again. But yeah, I had to allow myself to receive it. And so even that also goes back to like the belief systems and things like that. And so yeah, I guess what I really want to share today is how much your life changes when you shift your belief system. Um, when you take that energy of worrying how it's going to happen, if it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, to focusing on knowing that it's going to happen, like focusing on that knowing, like that desire, that thing, that space, that experience that you're seeking it for a reason. And so if you focus less on what hasn't happened and how you'll shift from this experience or reality to this experience or reality, you just don't see it. I don't see how that's going to happen. It doesn't make sense. If you take your eyes off of that and focus in on why don't I believe that, like I think you'll start to see a shift. Focus in on, because it's hard to just be like, I know this is going to happen. But if you want it and then you focus in on why you don't think you can have it, eventually, continuing the process, you'll start to shift your belief system, because you'll realize like, wait a minute, that's not true. That's not true. And you'll experience something different. I'm experiencing something different right now, and it's taking time and it's still working. Like it's still moving. I think the boxes were just an example of daily things that keep happening to show and provide things for me that I need in this season, that I'm like, Um, I don't understand how you expect this to shift, or how you expect me to believe this thing when this hasn't happened. And my faith is growing as I'm identifying and seeing all of those places that it's already happened. Like this thing that I talked about that I wanted, this life that I talked about I want to have, seeing how it may not look how I pictured it, but like these things are happening already. Like they have happened. And so why don't you believe that these other things, this next step for you, won't happen either? And so what I'm seeing shift is, as new opportunities present themselves, remembering like how I said, like you have to get to a point where you can receive it. When they come, I'm not resisting them. I'm trusting that, all right, this was the thing you said you wanted, and here it is. And so now it's helping me to identify, what do you really need. And it does take integrity to identify what you need, and not just, because you can have a lot of things. You can ask for whatever you want, and maybe it'll be provided for you. But that is the difference in moving from your heart, because you focus on what your heart desires, what it truly desires, and what makes you feel safe. And I think that's something that we forget, that sometimes our desires help us to feel safe, help us to feel embodied, and it's okay to desire that. Like I'm very particular about my space. I like having space to myself. I like having moments to myself. And so that's my top value that we identified. And so anytime I go against that value, I am triggered. I am triggered, and I probably respond in a way that I don't even like. But what I realize is some of that is like me communicating that this is a number one priority for me. This is a value that I have, instead of denying it, believing that it's okay to have that value. Like it's okay to live in community and interconnected, but still need your space. So reshifting some framework, and it's not always easy, but yeah. So what I want to do to close out, first I'm going to tell you what I already pulled. I had some oracle cards that I pulled from the African Goddess Rising, and I got Mask, and then I got Joy. Not Joy, I got Seasons. Joy was on the bottom. And so it actually worked out that we were talking about Mask and Seasons, even as I was just talking. And because it really was about shifting the seasons and kind of removing the mask and being present with this version of you, being present with the real and the truth one. Like the mask is all the things, all the beliefs, all of the experiences with ourselves that have given us this specific look, this specific idea, this specific way of showing up. And it's a new season, like it's a fresh start, it's a fresh experience of yourself, of what it is that you want, that has came from you kind of lifting some of these masks. And so I think that's kind of what's next, or what you may be experiencing, even if you feel like a different energy right now, is just that the masks are, I no longer resonate with those masks that I used to wear. Like I never really believed that anyway. But I thought I did. So we'll just do one on the camera for our carry with us through the week. What do we need to carry with us through the week? All right, so resistance, joy. That joy was on the bottom of the deck before. And then secrets revealed. And so the main ones are resistance and secrets revealed. And I really just think that's a new way of experiencing yourself. So resistance. I don't get this card a lot, surprisingly. Then you had the joy, which she's like, it's like a baby being fed by its mom. That's the hair. I don't think I can show you the picture. Hey guys, I'm almost done. And then secrets revealed. And so I think that even goes along with the mask. And it's just like different versions of yourself that you didn't know, different ways to experience joy that you haven't before. I think that's what we have to look forward to for the week. And the resistance is definitely, let me read that one. You're scared you're going to mess it all up. You may have stumbled, but this is a new day. Learn to show up for yourself. And the goddess declaration is, this is me, I show up. And then for joy, it is, your happiness matters, joy is sacred, your laughter waters the earth. And the declaration is, I feel like me when I'm happy. And then the last one for secrets revealed is, no ma'am, is open your eyes, secrets are being revealed. It is safe for you to see the truth. Your inner vision is crystal clear. And then the declaration is, I'm connected to the divine. And so I think a lot of times when we shift our belief systems, we shift our framework of belief, you know, when you're thinking about spirituality and religion, it is hard. It is hard. And it is really easy to get into a negative space or a critical space of self, or of what you're doing or how you're showing up now. And to me, this reads that it's okay. Whatever's changing in you, whatever's coming up in you, whatever mask you're taking off, like it's okay. Like you are aligned with a higher presence that is helping you and guiding you, and you're not doing it alone. You're not making it up. That's one that always hits me. It's like, I feel like I'm just making it up. Like I'm creating drama and chaos in my life. And it's like, no, like you're resettling into new territory. And even just saying that made me think about this dream I had last night, where it was like this tornado or hurricane came through, and everybody was like, it came out of nowhere. Everybody was taking cover. And I think like I might have injured like the back of my head a little bit, but like it felt a little numb, but I was fine. Like I was walking around, I was trying to find everybody, make sure everybody was okay. But it's like, it doesn't matter what the storm is or the chaos that is happening in the world, that we're like this greater collective thing that's happening, you'll still be okay. Like good things are still happening for you. You can still experience joy, and be in community, because it felt like a community kind of event, a community day. And you know, I don't even know why I brought that up, but I remember tornadoes or storms in your dreams represent change, and there's a lot changing in our collective experience, but there's a lot changing within you. And no matter what's happening in the collective, you have changed to the point of being able to get back up again, to move forward, to let go of this past version of yourself. And I was at a not a spoken word, but an open mic night last night. She gave this quote that I can't remember, but in general, it was just saying like, whatever's on the other side of the storm is better than what was behind you. And sometimes it's hard to let go, sometimes it's hard to release, but seasons change. And so here we are entering our new season. So I hope that brings you some sort of peace, some sort of clarity. Yeah. So share with me in the comments. Of course, like, share, subscribe, but really leave a comment. Like, share with me what's changing in your life right now and what new version of yourself you're learning. You're like, well, you're learning to experience, because I think we do have to learn to experience a new version of ourselves. So, what are you experiencing? What is that like? And how does this resonate with your soul and with your spirit? So, thank you for joining me again. And we're going to do our best, especially in this move, to keep these coming. And y'all have a beautiful day and an amazing week. And I will talk to y'all soon.